Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Open for Business show, the show that was born out of lockdown, where I get to speak to some amazing people. I get to speak to business owners, entrepreneurs, coaches, consultants, and able to ask them how their journey began, what's lighting their boat, floating their boat at the moment, what's in store later on, and how we can get in contact with them, how can we work with them, and all sorts of tips and tricks in between. And today I'm as lucky as always. I'm chatting to Louisa Havers, and she helps leaders and coaches increase their income and scale profitable businesses, amongst other things. She has a corporate background, but like most of us who then venture on our own path, there are turning points along the way, and that's how our journeys are formed, and that's what makes it so important and such a nice, interesting story. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Louisa Havers. Louisa, welcome to the show. It's absolutely lovely to have you on here. So please do tell us, how did you start as a business coach to begin with? Louisa, give us a little bit about your background.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Nick. It's such an honour to be here. And as you made me smile when you were saying turning points along the way for our journeys, because I thought, yes, what came into my mind was when I escaped. It felt like I had escaped the box that I had put myself in when I was in the corporate world. So my background is I used to be a senior manager for social services, and I did love what I did for many, many years. And I love the diversity of it and developing services. I used to develop multi-million-pound services across all the different public sector agencies, actually, predominantly health in my early days, and then more closely with the police and other organisations as well. And I think, so I was there, we were talking earlier about how long we'd been in our careers before. So I was there for 13 years in total. And when I first started there, I remember thinking, I'll be here for 2 years and then I'm going to leave and I'll go somewhere else. But you kind of get sucked in because I was good at what I did. There was enough variety. At that point, my kids were young. So it was that the box that I put myself in was that it was safe. I was in a safe job. I didn't have to worry about how much money I was making. The money was just, coming in regardless of whether I was doing a good job or not.
That's always helpful.
Yeah. So it was just coming in, and that felt like a safe and secure thing to do, rather than actually thinking at that point, is this lighting up my soul? Is this really my purpose in life? And I remember getting to the point where I had split up with the kid's dad. I was getting all the complicated jobs to do at work. So change management programs. So of course, whenever you're putting people at risk of redundancy and changing services or cutting services for clients, it is stressful, and it's stressful for everybody who's involved in that. And I remember thinking, this didn't feel very creative anymore. I like creative side of developing services, but cutting them back is not fun. And I can remember a moment, it was probably just after. So the first turning point, I'd say, was probably when my father died back in 2004. And he had always said that he had done the corporate hamster wheel thing of, I'm going to do all the painting that I love doing when I retire. Everything was kind of, I'll do it when I retire. So he just focused on bringing in the income to be able to, take care of his family as he desired. And then he got ill health retirement. And so he never had the retirement that he craved. He didn't get that opportunity. And so, when you have that moment of going, I'm just doing what my dad did. I'm at high risk of doing what my dad did, of just being on this hamster wheel, working all the time, not really seeing my family as I would like to. And always be the thing about when you've got a responsible job, you can be at the risk of always thinking about your job, because it's not something that you just leave at 5 o'clock, at 8 o'clock, or whatever the time is that you officially shut the doors. It's there, and in the back of your mind. So I can remember sitting on the sofa one day just kind of thinking, oh my God, is this it? This is just exhausting. And, thinking, how many more years have I got to do of this work? And I thought, hang on, this is ridiculous. Why am I thinking like that? Because at that point I was thinking, it's like another 20 years of this. I I can't do that. There's got to be more to life than this, you know.
Yeah.
And so that was like, I think my, you know, first couple of turning points where I just started opening myself up to the possibility of something different and realizing that, you know, I didn't know what it was going to be at that point, but allowing myself to think differently.
Mm-hmm.
And then probably took me another couple of years to actually then to start to take action. So then I started, you know, looking for different opportunities and things like that. And I can remember thinking at one point, I want my own business. What can it be? And this was probably my first intentional manifestation, but I wouldn't have known the words around law of attraction at that point. And what I was doing. But I can remember, and I always say to my clients, I live in the energy of the question that you want answering. So I was literally thinking, I want my own business, but what can it be? I want my own business, but what can it be? You know, just not because I just didn't know at that point in time.
No.
I hadn't kind of, so just put the question out there, was just thinking about it and thinking also, you know, oh, I love helping people. I love empowering people. I'm loving coaching people at work. So I would say I was like, it's like cooking. I was sort of cooking on the question. And then I attracted the opportunity, the first opportunity to me, which was to become involved in a network marketing business, which I absolutely love. I still have it today.
Right.
And yeah, and that's how I started coaching other people to have their own businesses. And I realized that everything I'd learned whilst I was working for social services was just massive for helping to coach other people. Because, of course, I was coaching people in the workplace anyway, part of the coaching and mentoring team there, and then coaching people in network marketing. And I was doing that whilst I was still working. So like I did a transition period.
Nice.
So and that was just amazing, being able to get to the point in my network marketing business where I was able to then reduce my hours at work. And that just created that breathing space to start really thinking about, well, what do I want to do in life?
Yeah.
How do I really want to spend it? What do I like doing? I don't think I knew what I liked doing then, because it was just children and work and, you know, all the things.
Yeah, it's interesting. We hear this so often, and I think it is you get to a certain age, you know, when you're younger and you're being told you get up that corporate ladder, do all those great things, and then you get to your, sorry kids, when you get to your 40s, you kind of start to question it. And this is a recurring theme. You question what you're doing, why you are working so hard, and you know, for someone else, and you've got to think there's got to be a better way. But it's interesting though that for you, yes, you were obviously able to coach within your corporate career, and so this is almost like an evolution of to how you then transitioned as well. Yeah. That was quite fascinating. I didn't realize actually you had the network marketing company business as well. So that, and again, they, from what I know, they tend to provide great training, and you need to impart that training as well. So you've got skill sets that that you still use. That's a good thing.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, network marketing is fantastic. It's such a misunderstood business model, I think. And often it can be, because particularly when people are new and they're coming into it, they haven't got the training yet or the skills yet. And so they're going out and being met with people's resistance and misunderstanding about what the business model can be, which can then break people's hearts. Because this is the thing that I have learned, is that a lot of people, and I don't know what the numbers are, so this is me talking off the top of my head, but a lot of people can be attracted to, like myself, attracted to network marketing because they're an employee. You can't get a pay rise in your corporate job. I certainly couldn't. This is why I did it. I wanted to give myself a pay rise. But you have an employee mindset, and having an entrepreneurial mindset is very, very different. And being able to make that transition between the two, you need the support and the guidance to do that. And obviously, you know, depending on who's introduced you and your mentor and the company that you're with, etc., you're going to get, you know, most companies have incredible training, and I think they're all just, you know, fantastic opportunities and incubators for people to crack open and recognize that there is more out of life, and to start to ask more of themselves so that you can live at your highest potential.
That's
rather than just settling for meh.
Yeah, no, that is so true. The fact that suddenly, yes, you can two things. One, you realise that you have potential that you didn't realise, and then the realisation that you can actually live up to that potential and access it. So, can you tell us a little bit about how you developed this entrepreneurial mindset with this change?
Yes. So, and I think so if I use my journey as an example, so one of the things around is it's moving into being a business owner. So as an employee, everything's taken care of for you. So if you want training, your employer pays for it. It's not your own money going into the pot. So it's a very different thing. So you rock up, you have a nice day training, or you join a program for a year. You're only invested in it as much as you truly are committed to yourself and to your career. It could be a nice afternoon off from work. Whereas when you're an entrepreneur and you want to develop your skills, it's your money that you're investing into yourself. And I think I've seen this a lot when people are first doing that first investment to themselves, when they've gone from being an employee to an entrepreneur. It's a biggie because they suddenly realize it's on them, that they're asking
Yeah.
more from themselves. So that's one of the first things that I would say. And then it's the identity shift around, because you're completely doing sales, for example, for your organization is very different to selling as a coach when you're your own business. And it can kick up a whole load of stuff: visibility, imposter syndrome. Who am I? No one's going to pay me for X, Y, and Z. And all your inner child wounds start to, flush out to the surface and can have an impact on your business. And that's why hacking your subconscious is so key, because you don't want the 6-year-old you making decisions around your pricing for your business, your programs or whatever it might be.
Yeah, absolutely, and that is so true. I hear this so many times that people that are, and I was the same, people that are, normally you'd think, oh, you've been pricing, you know how the business works, and yet when it's yourself, you think, oh no, they won't pay that, because you suddenly have these doubts, and where the hell did they come from?
I know. They just kind of they come in, take you out of the game. And that's why when we were talking earlier about why it's so important to be surrounded by community and other people that are doing the same journey as you, because it gives you courage, it gives you confidence. You have evidence right around in front of you of other people who may be a little bit further along the journey in front of you, to help inspire you to keep going, to see the mistakes that they might have made, so that you can then go, okay, I remember when so-and-so did that. I'm not going to do that. Whereas you might have done if you were just like working in a bubble on your own.
Yeah, that's a danger in a bubble, is that you only have your own advice. That's never a good idea.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? If it's your own advice and it's your advice without your limiting beliefs on it. Or it can be your limiting beliefs talking, saying, I'm giving you really good advice here, but you've just literally capped yourself because you haven't got any other evidence around you to start to stretch and help you to see beyond what you can currently see, because you don't yet know what you can't see, if that makes sense.
That's quite deep. That's a nugget to take away. You can't see what you can't yet see.
It's a rider downer.
Absolutely. Yeah. Replay.
Yeah. I'm just going to write that one down. It just popped out. It'll be a new Instagram quote or something.
Yeah, hit replay about 10 times at least before you go to bed. Yeah, that is so true. So you've got your network marketing business, you've got other people around you. So how did you then transition and do your coaching and with your manifesting and your law of attraction? And I can never pronounce it properly. Was it the Akashic Soul Training?
Akashic Record.
Akashic Record.
Yeah. I was thinking, are you going to be saying, I can't pronounce, is it pranic healing or Akashic Records? Because most people will say it about both of those. So when I left and literally was like, I can remember kind of wanting to pretend that I wasn't leaving, even though this is what I wanted to do. It was just like, felt it was such a big thing, completely changing my identity. So I left. I had my network marketing business, which was fantastic, and I knew that I wanted to create my own brand and create my own coaching business. And so that's what I set out to do. And it was probably about 6 months of sort of doing local networking, not really getting traction in the coaching side of things with what I was doing, that I then found a business coach online and threw myself in to learn online marketing skills and sales skills, and have continued to carry on investing in myself. I work with coaches all the time because I know we're always constantly learning and growing. There's always new things you can learn. And even if someone's doing the same model as you, they can say things in a slightly different way that then just land with you differently. And then that helps you to grow. And then, of course, I bring everything that I've learned and share that with my clients as well. So to help them grow in their businesses. So I started off very much focused around helping people find their passion and purpose, and to set up their, at that sort of more network marketing, getting started, business coaching. And then it grew and expanded from there, whilst I was able to bring in everything that I've learned over the last 4 or 5 years around online marketing and sales and energy alignment and pranic healing and Akashic Records. It's just been an absolute whirlwind, and I've absolutely loved it. And my first experience of really bringing in the law of attraction and the energy side of things was through pranic healing. That pranic healing was like my gateway drug into the energy world.
So can you, for people that don't know, can you explain what that is?
Yeah. So I'll explain energy first, and then I'll explain pranic healing, if that makes sense. So the way I explain energy is to think about that we all have our own human Wi-Fi. So in Eastern terms, that's our aura and our chakras, and our human Wi-Fi holds every thought, emotion, and belief, memory of experience that we have ever had in our lives, and that has a certain frequency and vibration to it. And so it's our human Wi-Fi holding that frequency and vibration, sending it out to the universe, and then of course receiving more of what we send out back. So if we think about very much how our mobile phones will work, I could ring you up on my mobile phone. It's attached to nothing. It's got its Wi-Fi coming out, and it's going to connect with your Wi-Fi so that we can talk. Well, we're like that. We have our own human Wi-Fi, our own energy field. So pranic healing is working, it's distance healing. You can work on long-term conditions. You can work on stress, anxiety, psychotherapy, conditions and things like that. And you are simply working on the person's human Wi-Fi, on their chakras and their auras, and following specific protocols in relation to that. So I can do pranic healing with somebody who's in, Australia, or my son's in the house, because of the principle of that we are all connected through one electromagnetic energetic field.
Cool. I like that.
Yeah. Explain that.
Yeah, I understood it. So
cool.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
So all our little bubbles, our human Wi-Fi bubbles, are all connected through the one electromagnetic field.
Yeah, because we are all energy. That's
exactly. Yes, exactly.
And that's the thing. I remember that from my grammar school days of we're all molecules and atoms, and everything is all molecules and atoms. So that to me, I haven't got a problem thinking, and that when people explain it like that, like you just have, that makes total sense. So yeah, excellently explained.
Awesome. Yeah, so the pranic healing was my gateway into it. And I remember we were doing an event for I was helping one of my business partners in my network marketing business. We were doing a health and wellness event to raise money for charity for a dear friend of hers who had cancer, who has sadly passed on. And the event was fantastic. My friend had done most of the work, I have to say. I'd rocked up to help her, but she had arranged. So we had I think it was about 40 or 50 people there. All had come to kind of experience nutritional, treats and things, and to meet, lots of other people in the wellness profession. And there was a pranic healer there. And all through the evening, because me and my friend Kate were doing the presentation, all through the evening, I could see people going over to her, sort of sitting down in a meditative position for about 10 minutes, and then jumping up and going, "Oh my God, I feel amazing." And I was like, "What is going on?" And she just looked like she was kind of like waving her hand like this. And I was thinking, this is making no sense, because of course I was completely in my head at that point.
Yeah.
And so I remember going over to her, at the end of the evening saying, what are you doing? Can I experience this? Because, you know, I was open. I wanted to see what it was all about. So I remember her saying, right, sit down, just put your hands in a meditative position, just be open to receive whatever's, you know, going to happen. And I'll just do like a nice stress relief on you. So she started doing it and just felt really relaxed. And then I felt her come over and do something here. So I felt like she was sort of not touching me, but just kind of doing something really close to my body here, if that makes sense.
Right.
And then at the end, she said, you know, I finished now. How was that? And I was like, and I said, I felt it when you came over here and worked on my shoulder. And she said, I didn't move. And I was like, what do you mean you didn't move? Because I knew what I'd felt. Like, and I realized it was the kind of first validation of that. I felt the energy of her working on my aura.
Ooh.
And like, it blew my mind. And I remember driving home, because it was about 2 hours away, and I was driving home at midnight, and I had so much energy for about a week. I had masses of energy. And I was just like, what is this magic? You know, because I knew what I felt. I had that kind of validation, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So then, of course, I just dived in and started learning everything and trained to be a pranic healer, because it just blew my mind. And so I weave everything that I've learned from pranic healing into how I do coaching, and using the other modalities as well. It's a fantastic training program for everybody to be able to do if they just want to do, you know, healing on themselves, or you know, take it out and work with other people.
All right, so you don't need any special gift. It's something that all can be done.
Everybody can do it. And this is the thing, you know, it's about the radio. It's like that radio frequency, because some people will say, oh, you know, it's a load of nonsense, all this energy stuff. And it's just because you're not on that frequency yet, because you're not going to see it unless you have. So it's like changing a radio channel.
Yeah.
When you change the channel, you start to see it, if that makes sense. And a lot of people, like, I find and this was me, so I recognize this within my own journey, is if we're living in our heads, it's like we've disconnected ourselves from our heart and the rest of our body and our emotional energy field. But the way to kind of know that you can do it, I would say, because I think everybody has had this experience, and this is this kind of universal experience. I think everyone has had that moment where you could be, I don't know, say you're standing in a shop, you know, when we could go to shops and we were allowed to stand in them, and you might be standing. Sorry?
Those were the days, yeah.
Those were the days, I know. How we'd appreciate them more now. So let's say you're standing in a shop and you've just got this sense that someone's looking at you, and you turn behind, and your brain knows exactly the position to turn to, even though that they're behind you, and you catch their eye and they were looking at you. That is your heart energy, your electromagnetic field, picking up that signal from over there. So you're reading energy. Your heart is doing it all the time. You just don't know it.
Wow.
Does that make sense? Same thing. Have you ever had this where you've thought about somebody and then they call you?
Yes. Yeah.
That kind of thing.
That's surprisingly regular.
Yeah. Yeah. Because your heart is picking up on the incoming, remember, human Wi-Fi, messages coming out and coming in again. It's already picked it up before your brain and before the physical phone can actually ring.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So knowing that, I hope that helps people to see, yeah, I could do Reiki, I could do pranic healing, I could do EAM, I can do Akashic records. You can do all of it as much as you choose to, and choosing whatever resonates for you, and just leave the rest if it doesn't resonate.
Oh no, I like that. That's good. So you're using these techniques along with your coaching. Do you have any specific coaching niche? So do you coach a certain type of person, or?
Yeah, so I work with high achievers, so people who are like you and I, leaving corporate and setting up their own businesses, or people who are senior in their roles and managing teams and wanting to, be aligned in their leadership position. And then I also work with coaches and entrepreneurs who are looking to scale their businesses to grow to 6 figures and beyond. And so I use a combination of, business coaching, energy alignment, because we, of course, it's that mindset and energetic frequency that we're sending out to make sure that we are aligned in the actions that we're taking so that we can have the success and the profit that we want in our lives, so that we don't, because the risk is you can swap your corporate rat race for an entrepreneurial rat race, which you don't want to do.
No, exactly. No, you swap your boss for a bank manager. I think someone once explained it to me. Like, so Louisa, what does working with you actually look like? If someone wanted to work with you, how they go about it? What can they expect?
So I have a number of different ways people can work with me. People are very welcome to come and join my Art of Alignment Facebook group, where I do free trainings, sort of weekly, fortnightly. We've got a wonderful community in there. It's full of amazing coaches and high achievers in there, and everybody is, just contributes to the group, which is fantastic. So we can get to know each other in there. I also do a free 5-day program periodically. And that's a great way to learn a little bit more about me. So I have that coming up on the 30th of November.
We have that here to share with people. There we go. This is the free 5-day program.
Thank you. So so I run this periodically. We've had something like 3,500 people go through it over the last year. It's been absolutely fantastic. And I help people increase their success by using a rapid manifesting method and starting to hack your subconscious mind so you can have that leading edge in your life and business. So I absolutely love doing that. It's a real privilege to share that. And it's a good introduction to how I work. And I always open the doors to my programs at the end of that, so that those that are ready to want to work with me can come in. So people can either come into my program, Your Passion Life, which is a 12-month mastermind where we do deep energy work and manifesting. And I have a lot of entrepreneurs and coaches in there that are, doing it for themselves. But of course, everything that they then learn can then filter out into their practice as well. And then I have Soulful Business Mastery, which is for coaches and therapists that are looking to grow their businesses online. So that is, I teach everybody around how I've grown my business to beyond 6 figures, and share with them all my marketing strategies and principles. And we do energy alignment within there as well, because of course we need to make sure that part of you is, you're supported through your mindset and energy within the program as well. And then of course people can choose to work with me one-to-one. And I also teach the Akashic Records and do Akashic Record consultant. So those are soul readings. So that's for people who are ready to go very deep. Let's put it that way. And so I have a lot of coaches that then may choose to come and learn how to read Akashic Records. And that's a tool that you can then offer and develop as a service in your own business as well.
Oh, it's amazing. And that's, it's such a wide variety of things that you can teach. And I think, and particularly on a when we look at some of these marketing groups and they, a lot of people talk about authenticity, and it's a word that's thrown around, but actually if you are aligned, then you can't help but be authentic. And I think that's really valuable. So can you share with us, like I say, the links to your 5-day program? They're in the comments. So anyone watching wants to join that, please do click those links. I mean, it's free and rapid transformation. I think that.
Yes, thank you. You summed it up well.
Absolutely. That would be crazy not to do. I know straight after I shall be booking myself on there. So obviously you've had challenges and successes. Can you share with us some of the successes you've had, and maybe start with, did you have any challenges that you had to overcome initially, and then obviously all the successes that you've had?
So I think there's challenges along all the way. It's how you see them, isn't it? Do you see it as a challenge, or do you see it as a something that needs to move to shift. And this might be because I look at it from this perspective, probably because of all my business. I used to lead on business planning for social services for like 8 years or something. So the thing that I know is that whenever you do anything, you're going to have some things that are going to work and some things that aren't, and it's okay. And being able to be in that space of going, right, I've got a plan, because you've got a plan, otherwise you're planning to fail. Have a plan, but know that it's a live plan, and that some things that might have looked good at the beginning of the year, you test them out as you're learning and growing. You might have just identified a skill that you need to develop, rather than actually that project needs to be shelved and it was no good. It just might be, right, go and develop the skill, then come back and do that project. Does that make sense? So for me, I think the way I've approached it when I left was recognizing at the beginning that, I was doing like just offline marketing and just thinking, this is not going to build me a business. So that was a challenge, in the sense of recognizing that was my area of development. I needed to really develop my skills around online marketing if I wanted to create the impact and to be able to reach more people and to work with more people.
Yeah.
That's what I needed to do. So my business plan changed over time, and it continues to do so as I grow and evolve. So I think that's one of the things I would really impart to people is make sure you're planning, but don't be afraid to change it, because you're gonna grow and change along the way. And everything that you put out there, you get feedback. It's not that you failed, it's not that it was wrong, it's just feedback, and then you can tweak and change it so that you're making sure that you're in alignment with what you're doing. Does that make sense?
Oh, that is some of the best advice I've heard in a long time. That is the thing. People, so often you see it, people have a plan, and even though it's not working, because it's their plan, they're kind of married to it and they don't want to change it. So that's phenomenal advice. Absolutely.
And yeah, and the other thing I would say as well within that is knowing what you're measuring and looking at, because if you don't look at all the right performance measures, you're making decisions off the back of what you're seeing, then you can make a decision that's not going to be the one that's going to be in alignment with what you want. So it's knowing, that's where that could be an area for people to develop, is thinking, okay, so what is it that I need to know to be able to make solid decisions about where I want to go?
Yeah, no, that's it. And no one knows everything, but you've always got access to someone that will know what you need to know. That's
exactly. Or someone who knows someone who can introduce you to someone.
Exactly. And I think in the digital age, you're a lot closer to those people than you ever used to be. So I think that's brilliant. So can you share with us, have you got some success stories that you can tell us about, some amazing transformations you've helped people achieve?
Oh, I just love working with all my clients. I think what I would say is that these are their results, because your clients, you can guide them and mentor them and coach them, but ultimately they've done the work. And it's just such a joy to see them shine and transform and really step into their highest potential. Thinking of, we've been talking about business, so I'd say what's been such a joy is seeing my clients in Soulful Business Mastery getting their businesses set off the ground. One of my clients, when she came to work with me, she was a successful therapist. She's phenomenal at what she does. She's absolutely amazing. She was bringing in about 1,500 on average every month. So sometimes it was lower, sometimes it was higher. And that was because she was just doing local, networking, had that local business model. And then since she's worked with me, she's been she started within the first 6 months, I think it was, hitting 5K consistently each month. So that was like her first milestone. And then she most recently had her first 10K month. And now she's on track to start having 10K months consistently. And it's that is life-changing. It's absolutely life-changing. She's done the work, she's followed the processes I've shared with her. She's being her authentic self. She's, doing all the energy alignment work to make sure that she's staying in alignment with developing into the next level of herself as well. This is her. This is, that's what's such a joy to see people really be more of themselves.
Yeah. So actually seeing her able to fulfill her own potential. Actually, I think I read about her on your website. You've got you've got some great testimonials, some great stories. So we'll put the link in again after the show, and in the show notes we'll have the links to all your all your online places we can get hold of you. But if you're watching, then do check that out, because it's amazing. It's really quite incredible. So yes, that's really cool. So obviously the big question is, are you still open to receiving more clients? People that can join your programs.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have got capacity in Your Passion Life and Soulful Business Mastery. And the doors are opening for Your Passion Life, as I said, when we have opened the Align Success free workshop as well. I do have an early bird where people can register early. So if you are watching this before the 30th of November and you're thinking, I'm curious, do reach out, because then I can chat to you about that. And we'll be opening the doors for Soulful Business Mastery then as well. And then if people want to work with me one-to-one, I really do like to make sure that we're really good fit for each other, of course, as well. So have an initial conversation to find out a little bit more about, where you're at, what you want to achieve. And then, if I feel it's a fit from my perspective, I can invite you to work with me. And if it's not, I can signpost you into the, I know so many people that may be a better fit, so I can pass on any recommendations if that's more appropriate.
That is God, you've just got so many great words of wisdom, Louisa, because that's another great way of actually generating business. It's, if you're not a good fit for someone, then don't just write it off. You know people where they're going to be a good fit, and that works both ways. It's one of those things, again, from interviewing lots of different business owners, where people shut themselves off from people in the same industry, when actually open yourselves up, because I'm not going to get all the people that, surprisingly, not everyone's going to like me, and I have to accept that. But then they'll like someone else, and vice versa. Yeah. They'll go to someone else, and they'll say, "Oh no, I prefer you." So no, that's fantastic advice. So have you had to change very much? Because I don't like to bring up the COVID bird, but as it's been a funny year, have you had to do much transitioning at all? And how do you see the future? How do you see the future for Louisa?
Well, so I have to say I was so grateful that I have got my businesses where they're at. There's been no change for me at all. I was like, lockdown's no different. In the sense, I was just like, I'm so glad that I haven't got the pressure of trying to learn all the things I've had to learn over the years, because I've implemented it. All my businesses is online already. I have a handful of clients that, if they're local and they're working one-to-one with me, that they might come and work with me in my house. But most of them, I've got clients all over the world, so most of it's all online. So for me, I have been very blessed and very grateful that everything is online, and noticed that there's been a real uptake of more people wanting to learn how to run a successful business online that's in alignment with who they are. So I think that's the one thing I've noticed, is recognizing people opening up to it. And actually, both from a network marketing perspective, but then also coaching, and then all the other different ways you can grow an online business as well. Because of course, there's all sorts of products out there that, whether you're making them yourselves or you're, representing a brand to market their products. So I think I see there being a demand for more people needing to develop their skills in marketing and sales online, so that you aren't locking yourself into one area locally, where if something else happens again, you've got the skills already developed, so that you can pivot, you can be creative in your business, like you were. It's amazing how you responded, you've changed your business model, and to create something else so you can thrive and you can make an impact. And it's been amazing seeing the creativity, I think, in entrepreneurs that have done that and have needed to tap into thinking about, okay, so what's the need right now in the market? Because the market's completely changed. What skills do I need to develop? And then go get it, go develop it, so that you can then provide whatever the service is going to be for your business.
Yeah. Oh no. Oh, thank you very much for that. Very, very charming of you. So, yeah. So for the future for you, Louisa, how do you see yourself? Do you have any bucket list goals that you still want to achieve?
Do you know what? I need to update my bucket list because I've ticked off quite a few now. I found my list that I'd written a long time ago and I was showing my sons going, oh my goodness. And of course, these have all been achieved since I left my corporate job. They were not achieved before. So for me, next things are I really want to buy a house in the sun. So we are starting to look at we're going to go on when we can go on some exploratory holidays to find a place in the sun where I can work part of the year.
Oh,
So that's the next part of the dream for me, to be able to do that, which will be fantastic. And just traveling when we can travel again, because I do love traveling.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are the same. We can travel again. That'll be a godsend. And how lovely going searching for places in the sun. Oh, that's going to be tough. But I guess
really tough, really tough.
I guess you have to bite that bullet.
I'll take one for the family team.
Oh, Louisa, thank you. Time has absolutely flown. You've been a phenomenal guest. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
If you just wait there 2 shakes, I'll just finish the show and have a little chat after. What can I say? I am, as I say this most days, but I am absolutely blessed to be able to talk to these business leaders, coaches, and it's just amazing. There is a constant theme, if you've not realised it already. That is, a lot of it is in your mind, and you can do anything if you can put your mind to it. And maybe you need your mind your mind expanded. And as Louisa said, you don't know what you don't know, but someone else will be able to help you. And guys, that's the takeaway. I think we're going to put all the links where you can access Louisa in the show notes, in the comments, and do take advantage of the 5-day course Aligned Success Program. It sounds amazing. I'm going to sign up for that. So the links are there in the comments. I will return on the next episode of Open for Business. Have a phenomenal day.